As the weather cools down, many of us look forward to fall colors and those crisp mornings, but there's one seasonal visitor homeowners definitely do not want. You're seeing them on your screen. Stink bugs. They are invading homes across the country right now, and experts say that this fall could be especially active. And joining us live is Dr. Jim Fredericks with the National Pest Management Association. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. Thanks.
So I got to ask, why are we thinking that we could be seeing more stink bugs this fall than maybe other years in past?
Well, you know, as the weather cools in the fall, stink bugs are going to be looking for a place to spend the winter. They're cold-blooded, just like all the other insects, and so as the weather cools, they're going to be seeking shelter. We've had a nice warm summer. We had plenty of time for them to reproduce. Seems like spring maybe came a little early last year. That gives them more time for these populations to grow up. Then they enter houses to look for a warm place to spend the cold months.
And we were just talking just before we started this, when we think about like stink bugs and I think about other insects, it's like when I see one, does that mean that there are others that are there? Is it an indication of a bigger problem?
Yeah, oftentimes when you see one insect in your house, one pest in your house, that often means there's lots more. If you see one mouse, it's probably other mice. If you see one cockroach, it's probably other cockroaches hiding. Same thing with stink bugs. What'll happen is they'll aggregate in large numbers to keep warm, and so they might be hiding behind the walls, behind the siding, in the voids in the walls. If you see one that finds its way into the living space, that means there's probably dozens or hundreds more behind the walls.
Okay, so let's talk about prevention first. So if I want to keep stink bugs from getting into my place, say home or apartment, what are some of the things I can do?
Well, now is the time to be thinking about that. There's a couple of things. One thing is to just take a walk around the outside, and if you see any obvious gaps or cracks, anything larger than a 1/4 inch, seal it up with some caulk. For some people, that's easier than others. Of course, if it's the second floor, third floor, that makes it more difficult. We also recommend that you call a pro. A pro can give you some insights, a pest control pro can give you some insights into where they might be entering or what areas are particularly susceptible. And they may be able to give you some preventative treatments and kind of stop those populations before they find their way into the building.
Okay, so once one is in the building, now I notice one, maybe two, and I'm starting to get a little concerned. What do I do now?
All right. So, one thing that, everyone talks about is, well, they're called stink bugs, right?
Yes.
So if you squash them, they will stink.
Yes.
This is not a skunk stink. Like, it's not going to fill your home with a terrible odor. You're going to have to run out the doors. It's not like that. But they don't smell that good.
They really
don't. A lot of
don't.
people say it smells a little like cilantro. If you squash them with your fingers, your hand's going to smell like that smell for a couple hours.
That's debatable. I like cilantro. This is not a smell that I would say for that.
Some people don't. But what a lot of people do is vacuum them up. Take them outside, maybe scoop them up in a cup, take them outside. But if you're seeing a bunch, that might be time to call some help.
Okay, so definitely if you see them, you call help. You earlier said if I look for cracks about 1/4 inch, let's say someone doesn't have a ruler, how can I judge that?
Well, you know what? A 1/4 inch is about the width of a number 2 pencil.
Okay.
All right, so if you can push a number 2 pencil into a gap, that's going to be big enough for a stink bug to get in. It's also a good time to be thinking about some other prevention as we enter the winter months. Mice tend to move into homes at this time of year, and so about 20 million homes each year are invaded by mice. It's the #1 nuisance rodent. A 1/4 inch is all they need to squeeze in as well.
Doc, is there anything that I should not do? Anything that when people call or when you're talking with them and they're telling you the things that they're trying to do, you're like, oh, I wish you wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, there are a whole lot of do-it-yourself kind of
That's the trend.
Remedies out there. Lots of stuff you see on the internet. I don't recommend any of it. Honestly, exclusion, so prevention by sealing up your home, that's something that people can do. But when it comes to control, leave it up to the pros.
Okay, so when in doubt, call somebody, call a professional to come in. I mean, are there any potential harms that people can cause if they try to do things on their own?
Well, you have to be aware that whenever thinking about insecticides, something like that, you need to make sure that you follow those label instructions very carefully. A professional is trained, licensed, and their methods are designed to not only keep these bugs out, but to keep you and your family safe.
Thank you so much for coming in and giving us those tips.